Welcome to G Fun Facts Online. For tens of thousands of years, our ancestors painted and carved on rock. We've often seen these images as hunting scenes or tribal art. But what if the world's oldest art galleries were also the world's first observatories? A field called archaeoastronomy is revealing that much of this ancient art is a sophisticated record of the sun, moon, and stars. A prehistoric guide to the cosmos. These aren't just pictures. They're calendars, star charts, and records of cosmic events that were fundamental to survival. Let's journey back in time to decode these echoes of the cosmos. Our story begins deep in the caves of Paleolithic Europe during the last ice age. In southwestern France, the famous Lascaux caves, painted around 17,000 years ago, are filled with stunning depictions of animals. For decades, we thought this was about hunting magic, but researchers now see a celestial map. In the Grand Hall of the Bulls, a massive bull painting has a cluster of dots over its shoulder. These dots perfectly match the Pleiades star cluster, which, you guessed it, is located in the constellation of Taurus, the bull. It seems the artists were painting the world above them, as well as the world around them. Another panel at Lascaux might even be a lunar calendar, a series of 29 dots and squares painted among the animals, corresponds neatly with the days of a lunar cycle. The theory is that the animals shown alongside these marks represent the seasons, deer in their autumn rutting season or horses foaling in early spring. It was a calendar system that tied the moon cycle directly to the life cycles on Earth. But the story gets even older and more profound. In a German cave, a 38,000-year-old ivory sculpture was found, known as the Lion Man of Hohenstein-Stadel. Some researchers, like Martin Sweatman and Alistair Coombs, argue that this sculpture and other art from this period shows an understanding of the precession of the equinoxes. This is the slow, 26,000-year wobble of Earth's axis that makes the constellations gradually shift their positions in the sky. The theory proposes that ancient people used animal symbols to represent constellations and tracked their slow drift over millennia to mark dates and major events. If true, this means humans had a grasp of complex astronomy thousands of years before the ancient Greeks, whom we usually credit with this knowledge. As the Ice Age ended and the Neolithic period began, agriculture started to develop. With it came an even greater need to track the seasons for planting and harvesting. This era gave us monumental structures designed as astronomical observatories. The most staggering example is Göbekli Tepe in southeastern Turkey. Dating back over 11,000 years, it predates Stonehenge by 6,000 years and even predates the invention of pottery and writing. It consists of massive, T-shaped stone pillars arranged in circles, covered in intricate carvings of animals. For a long time, we thought only settled agricultural societies could build something so complex. But Göbekli Tepe was built by hunter-gatherers, turning that theory on its head. Some now think the massive cooperative effort needed to build this temple might have been the catalyst that led to settled communities. The astronomical connection is astounding. One theory suggests the carvings form the world's oldest known lunisolar calendar. An analysis of V-shaped symbols on a pillar counted 365 marks, matching the days in a solar year. The year was broken down into 12 lunar months, plus the necessary 11 extra days. A special symbol on one carving is thought to represent the summer solstice. It's been proposed that this entire monument was built to commemorate a devastating comet strike around 13,000 years ago, an event that might have triggered a mini ice age. Göbekli Tepe wasn't just a temple, it was a memorial and a clock, built to make sense of a chaotic world. Now let's cross the Atlantic to the Americas, where indigenous peoples also etch the sky onto stone. In Chaco Canyon, New Mexico lies one of the most brilliant examples, the sun dagger. Here, a spiral petroglyph is carved on a cliff behind three massive, carefully placed stone slabs. On the summer solstice, at midday, A single, sharp dagger of sunlight slices right through the center of the spiral. On the winter solstice, 2 daggers of light perfectly frame the spiral. And on the equinoxes, a dagger of light hits a smaller secondary spiral. This is no accident. It's a masterpiece of solar engineering created by the ancestral Pueblo people over 900 years ago to mark the turning points of the year, crucial for timing their agriculture and ceremonies. The skies of the American Southwest also hold records of singular dramatic events. A pictograph in Chaco Canyon is widely believed to depict the supernova of 1054 CE. This was an exploding star so bright it was visible during the daytime for 23 days. The rock art shows a star symbol right next to a crescent moon, matching their exact alignment on the morning of July 5, 1054. A handprint is painted nearby, a symbol often interpreted as a signature or a way of marking a sacred event. Another image, a circle with looping streamers, has been interpreted as a total solar eclipse from 1097 CE, complete with a depiction of a coronal mass ejection. It seems these events weren't seen as terrifying omens, but as wondrous moments worth recording for eternity. These solstice markers weren't unique to Chaco. Across the Southwest, from Arizona's V-Bar 5 heritage site to Petrified Forest National Park, you can find petroglyphs where light and shadow play a precise game only on the solstices, pointing to specific carvings of corn plants or dancing figures, reaffirming the deep connection between the cosmos, the calendar, and the community. Now let's travel to Australia, where for over 60,000 years, Aboriginal peoples have maintained one of the most complex astronomical traditions on the planet. One of their most famous constellations isn't made of stars at all. It's the emu in the sky, a figure formed by the dark dust lanes of the Milky Way. The orientation of this celestial emu in the night sky mirrors the life cycle of the real emu on the ground. When the celestial emu appears to be sitting on its nest in the sky, it's the season when earthly emus are laying their eggs, a signal for people to collect them. Rock engravings of emus are often oriented to match the celestial figure at that specific time of year. Another incredibly significant story is that of the Seven Sisters, known to us as the Pleiades star cluster. In Aboriginal tradition, they are 7 sisters fleeing from a man represented by the stars in Orion's belt. This story is not just a myth, it's a songline, a celestial map. These stories contain practical knowledge about navigation, seasonal changes, and where to find resources. The appearance of the 7 sisters at a certain time of year might signal that berries are ripe or that it's time to fish. In Aboriginal cosmology, the sky and the land are inextricably linked, and their rock art is a living testament to this worldview. The phenomenon is truly global. In southern Africa, the San people have a rich tradition of rock art tied to their shamanic practices. Their art often depicts trance-like experiences, where shamans travel to a spirit world intimately connected with the cosmos. While their art features fewer direct star maps, the entire cosmos is a source of spiritual power, with animals like the eland holding a central place in both their art and their celestial beliefs. In the South American Amazon, the Tucano people's rock art, with its complex geometric patterns, is also believed to be linked to shamanic rituals and a deep understanding of the cosmos. So how do scientists actually verify these claims? Dating the art is the first challenge. Radiocarbon dating can be used on charcoal-based pigments up to 50,000 years old. For older art or engravings, scientists use methods like uranium-thorium dating, which analyzes mineral layers that form over the art, or luminescence dating, which measures when minerals were last exposed to sunlight. But even with an accurate date, interpretation is hotly debated. Some critics worry that we are just projecting our modern scientific obsessions onto the past, seeing patterns that are just coincidences. The field is generally split into 2 camps. One focuses on pure statistics, looking for alignments that are mathematically unlikely to be random. The other, known as cultural astronomy, incorporates folklore, ethnography, and history from related cultures to understand the art's original meaning. The strongest theories combine both rigorous science and deep cultural context. The study of this celestial rock art gives us a profound, humbling look into the minds of our ancestors. They were not just primitive people struggling to survive. They were scientists, observers, and philosophers. They looked to the sky for order, meaning, and a way to predict their world. These ancient canvases are a testament to the timeless human quest to understand our place in the universe. They remind us that our fascination with the stars is a deep and ancient part of our shared heritage. The echoes from these cosmic canvases connect us directly to a past that feels both unimaginably distant and surprisingly familiar. Thanks for listening to Fun Facts Online.